We know that the Panthers practice facility in Rock Hill has been a stop-and-go project for months now as Tepper Sports fights with the city over how payment is going to happen. Abby, this is on W.T. Harris and Milton Road, and I'm going to step out of the way so you can see the policing that we're looking at here. We do know that this was a shooting, and one person has been taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. La Casa is the business here that we've been seeing police come in and out of. The few minutes that I've been outside, my coat is covered, my hair is covered, my hat is covered, so the snow is definitely coming down. So I wanted to go ahead and check and see how deep that it's getting. So we have here on the curb a few places I haven't stepped. You can actually see some of the flags that people have left behind as they're coming to pay their respects. And this was the starting place as they started to go out on their 110-mile journey. This is the water main break right behind me. And if you look just next to it, you can see these businesses. We have a nail bar, we have a juice bar. But I did get on the phone with Duke Energy yesterday. They came out and put up this meter yesterday afternoon so that way the crosswalk has power. If you follow me over here to our Channel 3 news card, the first thing that I did this morning before I even left the station was check that tire pressure. And you can see these long lines of cars. These are people all lined up to get tested. This is the monument everyone is talking about, but it's that word, monument, that has the whole process tied up in deciding whether it stays or goes. Let's talk about why this is such a big problem. Just take a look around. You can see the amount of damage that was done in that press conference. It was the first time that we're hearing from Ethan Rivera's family, and in their message they shared with us more about his life, how he was a father of two and a man that had moved here just 2 years ago from New York for a better life. But we do know that this fire broke out shortly before midnight in the Hidden Valley neighborhood in Northeast Charlotte. This morning I am joined by Tommy Viola. He is the VP of Communications for the Charlotte Knight. And Tommy, I know that there is a lot of excitement for tonight, so tell us a little bit about what people can look forward to today.
Yeah, we're excited.
Right now, if you want a speed cushion in your neighborhood, you have to go around with a petition and get 60% of property owners, so not renters or tenants, but property owners, to sign this petition saying, yes, I want a speed cushion. I think the numbers are really what surprise you when you start to dig into them. So more than 30% of Charlotte neighborhoods are without sidewalks. More than 50% of main roads in Charlotte are without sidewalks. And of course, the places that are more impacted are going to be your low-income communities. And these are the people that they need buses, they need bus stops, they need sidewalks the most. This morning, we continue to follow the very latest on the situation in Ukraine. We know disaster response specialists from the Boone-based Samaritan's Purse will be headed to Poland and Romania. There have been 115 justices on the U.S. Supreme Court. All but 7 have been white men. A black woman has never been nominated until now. This is Oakdale Road. It's just over 6 miles from uptown and nearly impossible to navigate due to a lack of sidewalks and public transportation. Now, imagine this is what you see. How safe do you feel?
I would never live in this neighborhood as a blind person.
Walk down Oakdale Road. There's no sidewalks for us to walk on. Well, try to walk down Oakdale Road, and you're not going to make it far.
What are you going to do?
Crumbling, disappearing, and blocked sidewalks. No marked pedestrian crossings.
I would generally assume in most cities that if I find a crossing point on one side of the intersection, that there will be something across the street when I get there. In Charlotte, that expectation is often disappointed.
The closest bus stop, over a mile away. For Bradley Blair, who navigates the world without his eyesight.
Yes, I do a great deal on foot.
This part of Charlotte can only be safely navigated with the help of a sighted person. Here we go.
What you don't have is your own autonomy to make your own decisions.
As of 2017, 34% of sidewalks were missing along Charlotte's side streets and 54% on main roads. According to the Charlotte Walk Plan, a document designed to improve walkability in the city, the lack of infrastructure is attributed to the city's boom in population and car-centric design. The city wants to change that.
It's the right thing to do.
Terry Bradley is the City of Charlotte's American with Disabilities Act coordinator. He says the city has a plan in place to tackle community accessibility. First, through the Americans with Disabilities Act Transition Plan. Part of this plan would identify physical barriers like the lack of sidewalks and bus stops and address how accessibility can be achieved.
This is a civil rights that everyone
has to ensure that they have access to services.
Second, through Charlotte's 2040 comprehensive plan, where a major focus is the ability to access goods within 10 minutes by either walking, biking, or skating to your destination. These are also called 10-minute neighborhoods. But until either of those plans go into effect, people like Brad.
Yeah, I want to see some more buses. I want to see more bus stops, more bus drivers, more access for everybody. It's not just a special niche disability interest. It's everybody wins.
They'll need to hurry up and wait for the city to catch up. Both the ADA transition plan and the 2040 comprehensive plan are taking steps to become a reality. The ADA transition plan is set to go before City Council in the next 6 months for the beginning stages of approval. Meanwhile, the policy map that accompanies the 2040 comprehensive plan and helps determine the amount of intensity and the type of development that needs to go into certain parts of the city was approved this week by City Council members. In Charlotte, I'm Lileana Pearson, WBTV, on your side. Most people would call these a speed bump, but the city of Charlotte calls them a speed cushion. No matter what you call them, the purpose is to slow down drivers that are driving down neighborhood streets. But I've found out that if you want one of these on your street, you're going to have a long wait.
His words to me were, it has no expiration date. Even if it takes up to 5 years, it never expires. And I'm thinking, up to 5 years, you know, by then, you pray not, but there could be a fatality.
Catherine Nimmons knows a thing or two about safety.
Oh, Lord.
She started her neighborhood watch, got the speed limit in her neighborhood reduced to 25 miles an hour, and raised her children along this stretch of Catherine Kiker Road.
We've lived in this house for 31 years.
So when she noticed a few people with dangerous driving habits,
they're probably doing 45, 50, and sometimes even more.
She and a few neighbors started the petition process to get a couple speed cushions installed in their neighborhood. Their road qualified, it's 2 lanes and has a speed limit of 25 miles an hour, and they got enough signatures on the petition. The city approved it, and then nothing. Since March of last year, they've waited.
We do pay tax dollars, so where are my tax dollars going?
So when Catherine saw me talking about an unrelated speed cushion story on our newscast, right now that the city has a couple different things that they can do to try to slow down the people that are zooming through neighborhoods. So she called me.
It should not have come to the point where we had to reach to the news media.
And I got to work. Here's what I found out. According to the Charlotte Department of Transportation, they have a backlog of 160 speed cushion petitions. These 32 projects have been approved, but in a typical year, the city only installs 20, which has us asking, how did you guys end up with having a backlog of projects like this?
So the backlog is kind of a result of many circumstances coming together and not in the best of fashions.
CDOT Traffic Safety Manager Angela Berry says a swift departure of her predecessor and the contract company, AWP Inc.'s predecessor, meant the right information wasn't shared and speed cushions were installed incorrectly.
He's overused some pieces and not used other pieces that should have been used. And so I'm trying to correct the overused pieces and make enough so that we can get these 30 locations off our backlog list.
The overuse of some material left the city shorthanded for other projects. To fix this, they plan on using up the material they have left, part ways with AWP Inc., and begin building speed cushions with asphalt under a new contractor.
I know these citizens are very concerned. They worked really hard to get these approved for their neighborhoods, and I really want to give them to them, but I want to make sure that it's done correctly.
If all goes well, the city plans to have the backlog cleared by this fall.
I will move heaven and earth to clear this list.
Good news for Catherine, who says she would have rather heard it from the city than from us.
When we reach out to those persons who should implement those things that provide safety and you get no results. What does that say? That says you don't care.
It cost the city of Charlotte around $2,000 to install a speed cushion like this one. I asked the city what it would cost to install one made of asphalt, and CDOT told me they don't know what the price tag would be. In Charlotte, I'm Lileana Pearson, WBTV. On your side. They absolutely do, John. Right now I'm standing next to the entrance for that Walmart, and you can see right here, this is Wilkinson Boulevard, and the two closest pedestrian crossings aren't very close. There's going to be one down at Ashley Road. It's half a mile in that direction. The other one is going to be at Old Steel Creek Road, half a mile in that direction. So this new pedestrian crosswalk is going to be splitting the difference, hopefully discouraging people from running across those 6 busy lanes of traffic as they're trying to get to this very busy shopping center that's just right here. This is a familiar sight up and down Wilkinson Boulevard. For Denisha Ferguson,
it's kind of scary sometimes.
It's part of her daily life as she commutes to work at the airport.
Even when I'm getting off at 6 o'clock, it's super busy, so I'm in and out in traffic, so it's pretty scary sometimes.
The two closest crosswalks are over a mile apart, which means many people make the dangerous and sometimes deadly dash to this busy shopping center. But a new pedestrian crosswalk aims to improve your odds of arriving safely.
That they really felt unsafe having to cross 6 lanes of traffic.
Angela Berry is the City of Charlotte's Traffic Safety Program Manager. She says 2 pedestrian deaths in this area in the last 5 years and community members reaching out spurred her efforts to get state approval and start construction.
Somebody actually just brought it to our attention.
Berry tells me they have more than a dozen current crosswalks under construction and more than 40 she's currently fighting to get funding for.
Clearly there was a need to address it, because if you think about it, if there's fatalities, there's also the risk that people are crossing safely but within near misses.
According to Watch For Me NC, the state's pedestrian and cycling safety program, a person has an 85% chance of dying if they're hit at 40 miles an hour. With Wilkinson's 45-mile-an-hour speed limit, your chances are even higher. Ferguson says until the crosswalk is up and running, she's not taking any chances.
Feel safer crossing, and we have the signs that can say walk. So, you know, everybody will be safer.
And the crosswalk isn't operational just yet, but I did get on the phone with Duke Energy yesterday. They came out and put up this meter yesterday afternoon, so that way the crosswalk has power. And today I have followed up with the city again, asking them when they think they're going to have these covers off and they're going to be able to get these lights switched on, so that way pedestrians can start safely crossing Wilkinson Boulevard next to the Walmart here. I'm Lileana Pearson, WBTV, on your side.